Norway hides some of the strangest birds on Earth. One dives faster than a race car. Another twists its neck like a creature from a horror movie. And the final bird? Its haunting song has echoed through Norwegian forests for centuries. Most people will never see these birds in their lifetime, but today, you will. In this video, we're revealing 15 incredible bird species of Norway. You'll meet the puffin, a seabird so colorful it looks painted by hand. You'll witness white-tailed eagles with wings wider than an SUV, falcons once prized by Viking kings, and snow buntings that turn the Arctic into a moving painting. Each bird is more unbelievable than the last, and number 15 may change the way you think about Norway's wild skies forever. As you watch, tell me in the comments, which of these birds would you love to see in the wild? I'll be reading and replying to your answers. So get ready. Norway's skies are calling, and the journey begins right now. Meet the bird that can outfish a fisherman and outswim most fish, the Atlantic Puffin, Turcula arctica. With its oversized orange beak and tuxedo-like feathers, it's often called the clown of the sea. Cute? Yes, but don't be fooled. This little seabird is also a survival machine. Puffins spend most of their lives out on the open North Atlantic, where waves rise like buildings and winter storms sink ships. Yet they thrive in conditions that would kill a human in minutes. How? By flying underwater. Puffins flap their wings like flippers, diving to depths of nearly 200 feet, chasing fish with astonishing agility. And here's the jaw-dropping part. Literally, thanks to a unique hinge in their beak, puffins can hold a dozen fish at once. Imagine sprint swimming through icy water while juggling 12 silver sardines in your mouth and still grabbing one more. Have you ever seen another bird do that? Comment yes or no. I'd love to know if this is news to you. Each spring, tens of thousands of puffins return to Norway's steep cliffs and offshore islands to breed. Places like Røst in the Lofoten archipelago erupt with life. Sky, sea, and rock all come alive as puffins swoop in by the thousands, each one heading to a burrow they faithfully return to every year. Puffins mate for life, and every season they raise just one chick, affectionately called a puffling. Watching a puffin land on a cliff ledge, its beak overflowing with fish for its chick, is one of nature's most heartwarming spectacles. But this comedy-looking bird faces a serious threat. Warming oceans and overfishing are cutting into their food supply, and in some regions, puffins are in decline. That makes seeing them in Norway not only a delight, but a privilege. For travelers and bird lovers, a puffin sighting is unforgettable. It's a bird that makes children laugh, photographers cheer, and even the most seasoned bird watcher pause in wonder. So tell me in the comments, if you could stand on a Norwegian cliff with thousands of puffins wheeling overhead, would you go? Stay tuned, because next we move from adorable to awe-inspiring with a predator whose wingspan is wider than an SUV, the white-tailed eagle. From the clown of the sea, we now meet the king of the fjords, the white-tailed eagle, Haliaeetus albicilla. This giant raptor is nothing short of majestic, with a wingspan stretching nearly 8 feet, wider than a full-size SUV. It is the largest bird of prey in all of Northern Europe. When one lifts off from a cliff, it's as if the sky itself is moving. Nicknamed the Sea Eagle, it rules Norway's coastlines and fjords. With eyesight sharp enough to spot fish from hundreds of feet in the air, the eagle folds its wings and dives. In a heartbeat, its massive talons crash into the water, and a salmon that weighs several pounds is suddenly airborne. Locals even tell stories of these birds stealing fish straight out of nets or forcing otters to surrender their catch. Here's a mid-air fact that might shock you. Some eagle nests weigh more than a small car. Over 2,000 pounds of sticks and branches passed down from one generation to the next. Imagine standing under that structure, knowing it has sheltered the same family for decades. Few travelers will ever see one of these colossal nests up close. But in Norway, you can. These eagles are also symbols of resilience. By the 20th century, hunting and pesticides nearly wiped them out. But strict conservation laws and reintroduction programs turned the tide. Today, Norway holds one of the strongest populations in the world, a living reminder that protecting wildlife works. Picture this. You're on a boat in the Lofoten Islands. Suddenly, a massive shadow falls across the water. The white-tailed eagle drops, wings tucked, talons out. The sea explodes, and in seconds, it rises with a fish clutched tightly in its grip. Would you be ready to snap the photo of a lifetime? Or would you just stand frozen in awe? Let me know in the comments, and don't go anywhere. Because if you thought this eagle was powerful, the next bird takes the crown in Norway's high mountains, the legendary golden eagle. If the white-tailed eagle is king of the fjords, then the golden eagle, Aquila crusados, is the undisputed ruler of Norway's mountains. Sleek, fierce, and forged by the winds of the highlands, this eagle has inspired awe for centuries. With its golden eyes and feathers that shimmer in sunlight, it looks like something pulled straight out of myth. Golden eagles are born hunters. Their eyesight is so sharp, they can spot a hare from more than a mile away. Once prey is locked in, the eagle folds its wings and plummets like a missile, hitting speeds of 150 miles per hour. At the moment of impact, talons clamp down with a crushing force of over 400 pounds per square inch, strong enough to break bones in an instant. And here's the part that still shocks people. Golden eagles have been documented attacking animals as large as young deer, mountain goats, and even foxes. Imagine a bird powerful enough to take down mammals many times its own size. Have you ever seen footage of this? If not, you're about to be amazed. For the Vikings, the golden eagle symbolized courage and domination. Its image still appears on coats of arms and flags across Europe. But in Norway, the experience is far more personal. Spotting one gliding silently over a ridge feels like stepping into a legend. And here's the truth. Even many Norwegians go their entire lives without ever seeing a wild golden eagle. That makes every sighting not just rare, but priceless. These birds weren't always safe. For centuries, farmers hunted them out of fear for their livestock. Populations dropped sharply. Yet with modern protection, the golden eagle has rebounded, once again soaring above Norway's mountains, a living testament to resilience. Picture this. You're hiking on a lonely trail, the wind sharp against your face. Suddenly, a vast shadow sweeps across the rocks. You look up, and there it is, a golden eagle, wings stretched nearly 7 feet wide, gliding in total silence, king of the mountains. Would you reach for your camera or simply freeze in awe? Tell me in the comments. And don't blink, because next we meet a falcon so rare and so fast it was once prized by kings, the Gyrfalcon. High above the Arctic tundra, where winter never truly ends, a ghost hunts the frozen skies. This is the Gyrfalcon, Falco rusticulus, the largest and most powerful falcon on Earth, and one of the rarest treasures of Norway's far north. At first glance, its pale plumage blends with snow and ice, making it almost invisible until it strikes. But when it does, the speed and power are breathtaking. Gyrfalcons don't stoop like smaller falcons. Instead, they chase their prey in relentless pursuit, sometimes driving ptarmigan or ducks into exhaustion before delivering a fatal blow. Watching one in action is like seeing a fighter jet disguised as a bird. Here's the shocker. For centuries, the Gyrfalcon was so prized that it was reserved for royalty. Viking kings, European emperors, and even the Mongol Khans coveted this bird as the ultimate status symbol. To own a Gyrfalcon was to hold a living weapon of the gods. Some were traded for their weight in gold, literally. And yet, despite its fierce reputation, the Gyrfalcon is also a bird of mystery. It breeds in some of the most remote corners of the Arctic, and many Norwegians will never glimpse one in their lifetime. Even today, researchers consider a wild sighting in Norway's Finnmark Plateau or Svalbard Archipelago a privilege. Few creatures remind us so strongly that true wilderness still exists. But survival is never guaranteed. Climate change is altering its frozen hunting grounds, and populations remain vulnerable. The fact that Gyrfalcons still soar over Norway's Arctic cliffs is a reminder of how fragile and precious these ecosystems are. Now imagine you're standing on a windswept plateau in the far north. The snow crunches underfoot, the air thin and silent. Then, without warning, a white blur cuts across the horizon. Faster, stronger, more commanding than anything you've ever seen. Would you raise your camera or would you simply hold your breath in awe? Share your answer in the comments and stay with me. Because while the Gyrfalcon is the Arctic's rare ghost, the next falcon is the fastest creature on Earth, capable of outrunning even the wind, the Peregrine Falcon. If the Gyrfalcon is the Arctic's ghost, then the Peregrine Falcon, Falco peregrinus, is thunder-made flesh, the fastest animal on Earth. No cheetah, no race car, no jet on the runway can match what this bird achieves in the skies. When it spots prey, a pigeon, a duck, sometimes even a bat, the peregrine climbs high, folds its wings tight, and begins its legendary dive, called the stoop. In seconds, it becomes a living missile, streaking downward at over 240 miles per hour. That's nearly 4 times faster than a Formula One car. Imagine the sheer force of impact when talons strike at that speed. It's no wonder a single blow is often instantly fatal. And here's something few people realize. The falcon doesn't rely on brute strength alone. Its beak has a special notch designed to snap the spinal cord of its prey with surgical precision. This is nature's perfect hunter, engineered by evolution for speed, accuracy, and lethal efficiency. For centuries, peregrines were admired by falconers across the world. Kings and emperors used them as living weapons, symbols of control over the sky. But in the 20th century, this species nearly vanished. Pesticides like DDT poisoned their food chain, collapsing populations across Europe and North America. In many places, they disappeared completely. Yet here in Norway, with its rugged cliffs and open skies, peregrines endure. They nest on sheer rock faces, raising chicks in places nearly impossible for humans to reach. For birdwatchers, catching sight of a peregrine dive against the backdrop of a fjord is one of the most breathtaking experiences nature offers. And here's the FOMO moment. Most people will only ever see their speed on video, but in Norway, you just might witness it with your own eyes. So tell me, if you could watch the fastest creature on Earth dive in real life, would you film it? Or would you just stand frozen, listening to the roar of wind as it passes? Comment below. I'd love to know. And keep watching, because while speed is impressive, the next bird shows us the power of stealth and surprise, the black-legged Kittiwake. From speed in the skies, we now turn to survival on the cliffs. Meet the black-legged Kittiwake, Rissa tridactyla, a gull that has mastered some of the harshest environments on Earth. At first glance, the Kittiwake may look like an ordinary seagull, but don't be fooled. Its life is anything but ordinary. These birds breed on sheer cliff faces that rise hundreds of feet above the raging North Atlantic. Imagine trying to raise your family on a narrow ledge with nothing but storm winds and crashing waves below. That is daily life for the Kittiwake. Each spring, thousands of them gather on Norway's coastal cliffs, creating colonies so loud and crowded they sound like a living thunderstorm. Their name even comes from their call, which echoes across the sea. Kittiwake, Kittiwake. But despite the chaos, pairs are deeply devoted. They return to the same tiny ledge year after year, raising chicks in a nest no larger than a dinner plate. Here's the shocker. Kittiwake chicks must learn to fly by taking a literal leap of faith. When it's time to leave the nest, they launch straight off the cliff into the roaring sea below. Some don't make it, but those that do are instantly swept into the life of the open ocean, where they may not touch land again for years. And the challenges don't end there. The black-legged Kittiwake is now considered a vulnerable species. Climate change and overfishing are depleting their food supply, forcing them to fly farther and farther in search of fish. Populations in parts of Norway have declined sharply, turning their cliffside colonies into symbols of both resilience and fragility. For travelers, standing beneath a Kittiwake colony is unforgettable. The air is alive with wings, cries, and the smell of salt. It's chaotic, overwhelming, and strangely beautiful. A glimpse of survival against impossible odds. So let me ask, if you had the chance to stand under a cliff where thousands of kittiwakes wheel and scream above you, would you cover your ears or simply close your eyes and take it all in? Comment your choice below. Stay tuned, because next we meet a bird wrapped in velvet and down, one whose feathers were once worth more than gold, the common eider. From noisy cliffs, we drift into calm northern bays, where the common eider, Somateria mollissima, floats gracefully on icy waters. At first, it may look like just another sea duck, but hidden beneath its feathers is one of nature's most extraordinary secrets, the softest material ever created in the wild. The male is bold, with black and white plumage and a green nape, while the female is cloaked in mottled brown, perfectly camouflaged against rocky shores. Yet their true marvel lies in what mothers pluck from their own bodies. Eider down. To line their nests, females tear thousands of feathers from their chests, sacrificing their own warmth so their chicks survive. Imagine that level of devotion, a mother nearly stripping herself bare for her young. Here's the wow factor. This down is so light and insulating that for centuries it was valued more than gold. Kings and queens slept under eider down quilts. Arctic explorers relied on it for survival. Even today, a genuine eider down comforter can sell for thousands of dollars. But here's the FOMO truth. Most people will never touch real eider down in their lifetime. The story gets even better. In northern Norway, people have harvested eider down for centuries in harmony with the birds. Farmers protect colonies, provide safe nesting spots, and once the chicks are gone, they gently gather the down left behind. It's one of the rare examples where humans and wildlife work together, and both benefit. Life for the eider, however, is not easy. These ducks dive as deep as 20 meters into freezing seas to pry mussels and clams from the seafloor. Chicks just days old must follow their mother straight into icy waters, facing gulls and foxes at every turn. Survival demands both courage and luck. And as climate change and oil spills threaten their future, the eider's story is as fragile as its down is soft. Now picture yourself wrapped in the warmest blanket nature has ever created. But knowing it came from a wild duck nesting on a lonely northern shore, would you take that chance if offered? Comment your answer below. Don't go anywhere, because next we meet a bird with blazing yellow eyes and velvet black feathers, the common goldeneye. From soft eider down, we turn to a bird that gleams like polished metal, the common goldeneye, Bucephala clangula. One look into its piercing yellow eyes, glowing like embers against velvet black feathers, and you understand how this duck earned its name. Goldeneyes are built for water. With sleek bodies and powerful legs set far back on their frame, they dive with astonishing grace. In seconds, they vanish beneath the surface, propelling themselves with strong kicks to chase aquatic insects, mollusks, and small fish. They can stay submerged for nearly a minute, resurfacing far from where they disappeared. A game of hide and seek in icy northern lakes. And here's the surprise, during courtship, the male goldeneye performs one of the most dramatic displays in the duck world. He throws his head back until it nearly touches his back, then kicks his legs to shoot forward on the water, all while giving off a strange, twanging call that sounds almost mechanical. Imagine a duck acting like a rock star and sounding like a sci-fi machine. That's the common goldeneye in breeding season. Goldeneyes nest in tree cavities, often far from water. Females sometimes return to the very same hole year after year, and in places where natural cavities are scarce, they readily use nest boxes provided by humans. But chicks face a daunting challenge. Only a day after hatching, the mother calls them out of the nest, and they must leap to the ground below, sometimes from heights of 30 feet or more. Amazingly, their tiny downy bodies absorb the impact, and they scurry after their mother toward the nearest water. For birdwatchers, spotting a goldeneye on a Norwegian lake is unforgettable. The eyes catch the light like gold coins floating on water, and their diving acrobatics are mesmerizing to watch. But like many waterfowl, they face pressure from habitat loss and pollution, making every encounter more precious. So tell me, if you saw a duck with eyes that burn like gold in a display straight out of science fiction, would you believe it was real? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, because next we leave the calm lakes and dive into the drama of the forest floor, where the black grouse performs one of the strangest mating dances in Norway. From glowing golden eyes, we step into the forest clearings of Norway, where one of the strangest spectacles in the bird world unfolds every spring. Meet the black grouse, Lyrurus tetrix, a bird famous not for its colors, but for its bizarre mating dance known as the lek. At dawn in the chill of early spring, dozens of males gather in open meadows and clearings. Their black plumage shines with a blue-green gloss, and their distinctive lyre-shaped tails fan wide. White wing patches flash as they strut, bow, and hiss, producing bubbling and cooing calls that sound more like a gurgling pipe than a bird. This is no ordinary display. It's an all-out tournament for attention. Here's the shocker. While dozens of males may compete, often only a handful, sometimes just one, will win nearly all the mates. The others dance, fight, in display for hours, often for nothing. Imagine the energy wasted, yet the hope never dies. For birdwatchers, seeing a black grouse lek is like watching a ballet choreographed by nature. Equal parts comedy, trauma, and rivalry. The lek is more than just entertainment. It's survival of the fittest on full display. Fights break out as males charge each other, wings flapping, claws striking, snow flying everywhere. The strongest hold the center of the lek. The weaker are pushed to the edges. Only those in prime position impress the watching females, who silently judge every move before choosing their champion. For centuries, this spectacle has inspired hunters, artists, and conservationists alike. Today, black grouse populations have declined in parts of Europe due to habitat loss, but Norway still offers one of the best chances to witness this rare drama. And here's the FOMO. Many travelers visit Scandinavia for fjords and northern lights, but only a lucky few will ever experience the eerie bubbling chorus of a black grouse lek at dawn. So let me ask you, if you were in a Norwegian meadow at sunrise, would you film every second of this strange dance? Or just sit in silence, smiling at nature's theater? Comment below. And don't blink, because next we head into the frozen north to meet the Snow Bunting, a bird that turns winter itself into a living painting. After the chaos of the lek, we now journey north into frozen landscapes where winter rules the year. Here lives the Snow Bunting, Plectrophonax nivalis, a bird so closely tied to the Arctic that people call it the harbinger of spring in the north. At first glance, the Snow Bunting looks like a feathered snowflake. Males wear crisp white plumage broken by bold black wingtips, while females carry softer shades of brown and gray. When flocks rise together against the white landscape, it feels as though the snow itself has taken flight. Few sights in Norway are more enchanting than 1,000 Snow Buntings swirling above a frozen fjord at dawn. But beauty is only half the story. Snow Buntings endure some of the harshest conditions of any songbird. They nest farther north than almost any other land bird, building their homes in rock crevices hidden beneath snow and ice. During breeding season, males arrive early, staking out frozen territories weeks before females dare to return. In temperatures that can freeze human skin in minutes, these tiny birds sing boldly, declaring that life still thrives in the coldest places on Earth. Here's the shocker. Newly hatched chicks survive thanks to the parents' relentless effort. Adults may deliver food to their young every 3 minutes during the peak of summer, a frantic race against the short Arctic season. If they fail, the chicks may not grow strong enough to survive migration, and migration is no small feat. Snow Buntings travel thousands of miles, wintering in open fields and coastlines far to the south, before returning north each spring to repeat the cycle. For Norwegians, the arrival of Snow Buntings is a cherished sign that winter is ending and the seasons are turning. For travelers, witnessing their flocks rise from snowy ground is unforgettable. A living painting of white and black brushstrokes against the sky. So let me ask you, if you could stand in a silent Arctic valley and suddenly see the snow itself lift into the air, would you believe your eyes or think it was just a dream? Comment below. Stay with me because next we meet a bird with a voice so sweet and symbolic, it was chosen as Norway's national bird, the white-throated dipper. From Arctic snows, we follow the river south, where ice still clings to the banks and water rushes clear and cold. Here lives Norway's national bird, the white-throated dipper, Cinclus cinclus. A small, plump bird with a chocolate-brown body, a bright white chest, and a secret talent that makes it unlike any other songbird in Europe. While most songbirds flutter in trees or meadows, the dipper has chosen rivers as its kingdom. Perched on rocks in the middle of fast-flowing streams, it bobs up and down, almost as if it's dancing to the water's rhythm. Then, without warning, it plunges headfirst into the icy current. Using strong wings, it literally flies underwater, searching for insect larvae and small crustaceans clinging to stones. Few birds dare to enter such frigid torrents, but the dipper makes it look effortless. Here's the shocker. These little birds can stay submerged for up to 30 seconds, gripping the riverbed with sharp claws to resist the current. Imagine a sparrow diving into a glacier-fed river and walking calmly along the bottom. That's the magic of the dipper. For Norwegians, the white-throated dipper is more than a bird. It's a symbol of resilience. Even in the darkest winter, when snow buries the land and most birds flee south, the dipper remains, singing a cheerful, bubbling song above rushing streams. Its presence reminds people that life and hope persist, even in the coldest times. And there's a tender side, too. Each spring, pairs build domed nests tucked safely along riverbanks, sometimes hidden behind waterfalls where spray never ceases. Raising chicks in such a watery world requires teamwork and courage, but the dipper seems born for it. For travelers, spotting Norway's national bird feels like uncovering a secret. It may be small and plain compared to eagles or puffins, but its character shines brighter than plumage ever could. And here's the FOMO. Unless you're in Scandinavia or the high mountains of Europe, you may never see a dipper in your life. So tell me, if you heard a joyful song echoing above an icy river, would you lean closer to see the singer or just close your eyes and enjoy the music? Comment below and keep watching, because next, color explodes into Norway's skies with the arrival of the European bee-eater. After the earthy tones of the dipper, prepare your eyes, because the next bird is a burst of color in an otherwise northern sky. Meet the European bee-eater, Merops apiaster, a bird so dazzling it looks as if an artist spilled every shade of the rainbow onto its feathers. Imagine this, a slender body streaked with turquoise, golden-brown wings, a yellow throat, and a bold black eye stripe, all capped with chestnut and green. Against Norway's often gray skies, the bee-eater seems almost unreal, like a tropical visitor that lost its way. And in truth, that's exactly what it is. A rare migrant, appearing only occasionally in southern Norway, to the delight of birdwatchers lucky enough to catch a glimpse. As its name suggests, the bee-eater specializes in hunting bees, wasps, and other flying insects. With lightning reflexes, it snatches them mid-air, flips them against a perch to remove the sting, and swallows them whole. Here's the wow factor. A single bee-eater can eat hundreds of bees in a single day. Its flight an endless ballet of precision strikes. But beyond its skill, it is the bird's presence in Norway that feels so magical. These bee-eaters prefer warmer climates. Southern Europe, Africa, the Mediterranean. Yet some summers, small flocks push farther north, settling briefly along sandy banks or open fields. For local birders, seeing one is like finding a jewel in the snow. Rare, fleeting, unforgettable. Here's the FOMO. Most Norwegians will never see a bee-eater in their lives, and for travelers, the chance is even slimmer. Spotting one in Norway is pure luck, a gift from the skies, and those who do often remember it forever. And it isn't just beauty. Bee-eaters are also cooperative birds. They nest in colonies, digging tunnels into sandy banks, and entire families may help raise the young. This teamwork adds another layer of fascination to their already extraordinary story. So tell me, if you suddenly saw a flash of turquoise and gold streak across a northern sky, would you believe it was real or think your eyes were playing tricks? Comment below. Don't blink, because next we meet a bird so strange it twists its neck like something out of a horror film. The Eurasian Wryneck. From brilliant colors, we now move into shadows to meet a bird that seems ordinary at first glance, but hides one of the strangest defense tricks in the avian world. This is the Eurasian Wryneck, Jinx torquilla, a small woodpecker relative that trades bright feathers and loud drumming for camouflage and creepiness. The wryneck's plumage is mottled brown and gray, patterned like bark. It slips quietly through forests and orchards, so well camouflaged that you might mistake it for a broken branch. Unlike its woodpecker cousins, it doesn't hammer on trees. Instead, it feeds mostly on ants, using a long, sticky tongue to probe ant hills and rotting wood. But its real claim to fame comes when it feels threatened. Here's the shocker. The Eurasian Wryneck can twist its head around at bizarre angles, hissing and jerking like a tiny snake. This eerie display is meant to startle predators, and it works. To see such a small bird contort its neck so unnaturally is unsettling, even for humans. Imagine stumbling upon one and suddenly watching it twist and hiss like something straight out of a horror film. Would you hold your ground or take a step back? This strange behavior gave the wryneck a mystical reputation in folklore. In ancient Europe, people believed it held magical powers and even used it in love charms and witchcraft rituals. Its Latin genus name, Jinx, even gave us the word jinx, a legacy of superstition surrounding its odd talents. Though widespread across Europe, the wryneck is only a summer visitor in Norway, breeding in open woodlands and orchards before migrating to Africa in winter. They nest in tree holes, sometimes even taking over old woodpecker cavities. Sadly, their numbers have declined in parts of Europe due to loss of insect-rich habitats, making every sighting in Norway special. For birders, spotting a wryneck is like discovering a secret. Small, cryptic, and unpredictable, it never fails to surprise. So let me ask you, if you saw a bird twist its neck like a snake and hiss from a branch, would you lean closer in curiosity or back away in alarm? Comment below. And don't miss what's next, because we're about to meet a bird that shines like a jewel of the forest, the Eurasian Blue Tit. After the eerie wryneck, it's time to meet one of Norway's most cheerful little garden visitors, the Eurasian Blue Tit, Cyanistes caeruleus. Small in size but big in personality, this bird is living proof that not all stars of Norway's skies are giant eagles or Arctic wanderers. Sometimes charm comes in a package that weighs less than half an ounce. The blue tit is instantly recognizable. With its bright azure crown, yellow belly, and black eye stripe, it looks like a miniature superhero dressed for adventure. Always on the move, it hops and flits through trees and gardens, investigating every leaf and crevice. For many Norwegians, it's the bird that brightens winter days at backyard feeders, turning gray mornings into splashes of color. But don't let its cute looks fool you. Blue tits are clever and adaptable. They've been observed unscrewing milk bottle tops to reach cream, and they often work in small groups to mob larger predators, proving that brains can rival brawn. And here's the shocker. Despite their tiny size, they can raise broods of up to 16 chicks in a single nest, one of the largest family sizes among European songbirds. Imagine two exhausted parents ferrying caterpillars nonstop, hundreds each day, just to keep their noisy household fed. Their nests are tucked into cavities, tree holes, nest boxes, or even gaps in walls. For bird lovers, putting up a simple nest box can attract a blue tit family, providing endless entertainment as parents dash back and forth with food. And while common across Europe, their presence in Norway carries a special joy. Seeing a flock of blue tits darting through snowy branches feels like confetti scattered by the wind. A reminder that even in cold northern winters, life is playful and bright. Here's your FOMO. Many travelers overlook small birds, focusing only on eagles or puffins. But those who pause to watch a blue tit often leave with their favorite memory of the trip. So tell me, if you had a chance to watch these tiny acrobats up close, would you grab your camera for every move or just laugh and enjoy the show? Comment below. Stay tuned, because our journey ends with a bird whose song has echoed across Norway for centuries, the common chaffinch. Our journey through Norway's skies ends not with size or color, but with a song. Meet the common chaffinch, Fringilla coelebs, a small finch whose cheerful voice has echoed across Norwegian forests and gardens for centuries. The chaffinch is modest in size, yet strikingly handsome. Males wear rosy chests, blue-gray crowns, and white wing bars that flash as they dart through trees. Females, softer in browns and grays, blend quietly into the background. But appearances are only half the story. It's their song that has made this bird beloved. At dawn in spring, a chaffinch's call rings out loud and clear, a rapid cascade of notes that rises and falls like a tiny orchestra warming up. To Norwegians, this song is more than music. It's a herald of spring, a reminder that winter has passed and life is returning to the land. Farmers once timed their sowing by the chaffinch's song, and poets have long celebrated its voice as a symbol of renewal. Here's the wow factor. Chaffinches are master imitators of themselves. Young males learn their songs by copying adults nearby, and over time, regional dialects form. A chaffinch in southern Norway may sing slightly differently than one in the north, creating local accents in birdsong, just like humans. Imagine standing in a forest and realizing you're hearing not just music, but the cultural heartbeat of a place. For birdwatchers, the chaffinch offers one of the simplest joys. It doesn't require a long trek or special gear. Just open your window on a spring morning, and you may be rewarded with its bright, spiraling notes. Yet here's the FOMO. While common in Norway, many travelers never stop to notice its song, missing a melody that locals treasure. So tell me, if you could end your day with one sound from Norway, would you choose the cry of an eagle or the song of a chaffinch greeting the dawn? Comment below. And with that, our journey through 15 of Norway's most extraordinary birds comes to a close. From puffins on sea cliffs to eagles in the skies, from Arctic buntings to garden acrobats, Norway proves that its wild heart beats strongest through the wings and voices of its birds. And there you have it, 15 of the most extraordinary birds of Norway. From puffins clowning on sea cliffs to eagles soaring like shadows over fjords. From Arctic buntings that paint the snow to tiny blue tits brightening winter gardens, each one tells a story of survival, beauty, and wonder. What makes Norway so special isn't just the scenery of mountains and fjords. It's how these birds bring the landscape to life. Their voices, their colors, their struggles, and their triumphs are living reminders that wild nature still thrives here in the north. But now I want to hear from you. Which bird surprised you the most? Was it the ghostly Gyrfalcon, the lightning-fast peregrine, the eerie wryneck, or perhaps the simple song of the chaffinch? Drop your favorite in the comments below. I'll be reading them. And if this journey made you feel awe, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with a friend who loves nature and let them join the adventure. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss our next exploration of the world's most incredible birds. We've got many more skies to travel and many more wings to follow. Until then, keep your eyes to the skies because the next wonder might be just a wing beat away.